Let's talk a little bit about this piece from the Wall Street Journal by Greg Ip. The title is "What's Wrong with the Economy? It's You, Not the Data." Now, Greg didn't write the title because that's not how it works in the news business, so I don't know that he meant to be, quite that aggressive here. But here's, this is something that's actually really interesting here. So when you look at how people respond to different questions, and this is one that was from a Wall Street Journal poll. Has the U.S. economy or your state's economy gotten better or worse in the last 2 years? The difference between the percentage of people saying the economy got worse versus better for the U.S. was like 31%. So 31% more people said the U.S. economy had gotten worse in the last 2 years.
Okay.
But in every single swing state they polled, because this was a political poll they did, Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. In every one of those states, at least 18% of people, at least 18% more people, said that their state economy had gotten better compared to worse. So this is not even something where you can say it's the ego of the individual who's saying, my personal situation's better. It's people in the aggregate saying, hey, the U.S. economy is terrible, but hey, my state economy is doing pretty well. It's gotten better in the last couple of years.
Another one that he focused on in particular that I also find fascinating is when asked a very simple question about inflation. Has it moved in the right direction or the wrong direction over the last year? 74% of respondents in swing states said wrong direction on inflation. And that's the one where all the other questions that get asked about the economy, about the local economy, about your personal finances, any one of those is really easy to interpret in a number of different ways. The point that it makes in this article is the inflation one is the very easy one where there is no argument. Over the last 12 months, no matter which way you look at it,
I can actually buy the inflation one. I can buy it because most people don't look at the inflation rate. Like, the average person, Mike, is not like, hey, what was my inflation rate last year? The average person is just saying, hey, were things more expensive or cheaper?
Yep. I buy how they responded to it. I get how it happened. But it's startling that this is the one where you can actually look at fact-based evidence, and almost no matter which way you cut it, if you just purely look at prices in almost any category, they've categorically gone up, but at a slower pace. And so I think that one to me,
at the pace.
Yeah, that to me is the piece that I think people continue to misunderstand, which is nobody actually understands inflation or experiences it in the way that financial analysts and economists care about it.
Well,
right?
I don't even look at who cares about that, quite honestly. People are going to experience it how they do. Did prices go up? Yes.
Yep.
I don't like that. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. The one that is mind-blowing to me, by 47 to 41%, more journal poll respondents think their investments or retirement savings went in the wrong direction in the past year. Now, data from Vanguard shows that the average retirement account grew by 19% last year. Do we really believe that half of respondents saw their retirement account go down last year? Because if they did, I'm struggling to figure out what they bought.
What they could have possibly owned. Yeah, some of these are just startling.
Stocks, every major U.S. index, even the Russell 2000, which was suck and win for 9 months last year, every major U.S. index was up last year. Most of them double digits.
Yep.
Bonds, up last year. Cryptocurrency, up last year. Gold, up last year. Real estate, up last year. What does that 47% of people own that make them say, yes, my investments went down last year?
Commercial real estate.
Did they all buy
institutionally owned commercial office buildings? I don't know.
Did they all just own nothing but Peloton stock in their account?
So 40 seconds though. Political implications, investment, saving, and decision-making implications. The answers to these questions do have big implications. On the political side, I think very obviously, if you're in a swing state and you think the overall economy is getting worse, then that has some pretty big implications for A, whether or not you show up at the polls, and B, how you vote. On the piece that I was trying to make on the inflation piece is, if you fundamentally misinterpret your experience with inflation versus what the overall economy is experiencing, then you can miss out on big potential rallies in the stock market, for example, and misunderstand where interest rates are going to go and things along those lines. Now, I don't think everyday people are making those types of decisions based on their views on inflation, but like that's the critical risk that I have seen with a few people. Like, I don't think this economy is good, so I'm sitting it out. Well, it depends on what you're looking at.